Jenna Ezel, and this is my individual comprehension assignment on music usage. Music has been a huge part of my life from a young age. I grew up singing and dancing along to my favorite tunes at home and in the car. Because I grew up during a time of rapid technology advancements, I remember having a cassette tape collection. Then came the CD, and I remember toting around a huge case of all my favorite tunes. While I sometimes miss the tangibility of having a record, reading the jacket, admiring the artwork, and listening to an album from start to finish the way it was most likely intended, I admittedly choose to stream music now almost exclusively. I can't deny that the accessibility outweighs that creative desire or sense of nostalgia. And in large part, from reading the chapter, I don't feel that is necessarily a negative thing. Streaming music has the potential to reach much wider audiences and connect fan bases on a global scale. It transcends demographic constraints. People in rural areas that might not have record shops can use the internet to listen to music, and those that might not have disposable income to spend on records can utilize the large streaming libraries, enabling them to access a wealth of music they might not otherwise have the chance to be exposed to. Music is one of the great connectors of society, and streaming is undoubtedly a valuable resource in facilitating that connection. That said, the recording industry and the streaming services that were born of it does create some issues that I want to keep in mind going forward. I work at a music venue, and I see firsthand the way artists are struggling to turn a profit. Of course, this might not apply to huge acts that sell out stadiums and dominate the airwaves, but there are a plethora of what I would consider mid-tier bands, or bands that have a fairly wide following, that aren't able to enjoy the successes they once were. With the advent of streaming and the discrepancy across streaming platforms and royalties being paid, artists are relying more than ever on physical merchandise sales and concert tickets to make money. In the future, I'd like to be more cognizant of that and where I'm putting my money in support of an artist. I want artists I admire to continue making music, and that is reliant on them making a livelihood. It has caused me to look at music as not just something to listen to, but to really think about all the ways I can incorporate it into my life in a way that is conducive to the art and not the corporations distributing it. The other aspect of my music usage that I plan to examine moving forward is the messaging and influence. It was a huge theme of the chapter, the ways in which marginalized groups have been negatively impacted or sidelined by popular artists copying or covering their music and gaining success from it. Additionally, music has long been used to convey messaging that can evoke a shift in the collective consciousness of society. It creates a landscape where nothing is black and white, and lines between gender norms, social class, politics, and morality are blurred. I would want to consume music that aligns with my values, but also that inspires thoughtfulness and causes questioning. In this way, I think it is important to be aware of the history of the music you're listening to, both within the genre itself as well as specific to the artist. What I learned from the chapter in relation to my own music usage is that as an individual, I have the capacity to influence the popularity of artists, and therefore I should be mindful of the music I give my attention to. As the saying goes, thoughts become things, so we should choose the good ones.